here with Coach Dom, the CEO and founder of Community Passageways. Community Passageways is a Seattle-based nonprofit founded in 2017 with a vision for zero youth incarceration. As a felony division and prevention program, CP is leading the way in reimagining and actively creating an alternative to today's criminal legal system. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
So today I wanted to ask you a couple of questions. There's been an uptick in gun violence in Seattle and King County. Can you tell us a little bit about what's going on?
Yeah, the uptick, there's a number of factors that are pushing this uptick of violence. The one factor that I was noticing even pre-COVID, when some of these shootings were starting to occur, is that we've had an influx of guns and availability to guns for young people in our community. I don't know where this influx of guns have came from. I don't know how this the guns are being able to be rotated through our community so cheaply. I mean, these young people are really saying that they can get guns easier than they can get a sack of weed, you know? Like, it's so available out there to them. So you got an uptick of a bunch of guns into our community. And then at the same time, you add that to COVID, when all the schools are shut, all the athletic programs are gone. Right now, kids would be getting ready to play their football season. Do you know how many thousands of kids play football? Right now, you'd be ending the summer track season. Right now, you'd be in the midst of the AAU basketball season. Right now, there'd be some people getting ready to start up for baseball. Like, what I want you to understand is there's all these athletic programs that have been shut down. Schools have been shut down. So now you have thousands and thousands of kids who aren't doing anything but trolling through social media, scrolling through social media. You know, they're on their phones, they're on their computers, they're on their tablets, social media. And what's all over social media? All the negative influences that could possibly be available to these young people. So now you got a lot of people on their IGs showing guns, smoking, showing money, showing themselves, shooting at people, doing all. So you got all this stuff. So then they're going and grabbing, and there has been a lot of gang recruitment happening with a few of these gangs. They're going and grabbing these young people, especially when you start talking about out in South King County. So now I've seen a lot of 15 and 16-year-olds that normally would be on the athletic field, normally be in school right now, involved in these gangs now. It's the hot thing to do now. So now you got guys that don't know who's who in the streets. At first, there was a smaller amount of people in the streets really putting in work, so people knew who each other were. Now you got guys that are in gangs and these guys are telling them, go shoot at them. They don't even know who they're shooting at. They don't even know why they're shooting, but they want to be down with their crew. So now you have a lot more shootings happening. Like, literally, people are walking up to them. I'm hearing this story more so than I've ever heard before. Walking up, are you so-and-so? Yeah, I'm so-and-so. And they pull out a gun and start shooting them. Like, it's happened a number of times because they don't even know who's shooting at who. They're just shooting. Then you got the regular guys that are out here in the mix of the gun violence that are doing their work. But now, you know, they got people to use. So you got a lot of younger guys trying to get put on and out here putting in work. So you're seeing those kind of dynamics at work, right? Here's the main factor, though, if we want to get into a systemic issue. The systemic issue is that the resources are not put into our communities for our young people to have other opportunities to do other things. These young people should be having internships, apprenticeships, employment, right? A lot of these young people are couch surfing. They don't have housing. Those are systemic issues that push the agenda of all these other issues that are happening. So when we can look at it from a ground level of just things happening that I just ran by you, and then the systemic level of we need finances and resources in our communities. A lot of these people, young people and their families are in positions of despair due to COVID. The wealth gap has been spread so far now, and some people don't have jobs now. A lot of people aren't working right now. A lot of people are struggling, and unemployment's starting to run out on some people, and just different things are happening where the basic needs aren't being met. Community Passageways has been out making sure we're doing food giveaways, giving out $100 gift cards for food. We're doing rental assistance. We're doing utility assistance to keep people in their homes. I mean, it's been a lot going on out here that we're seeing. Then on top of that, we start looking at the fact that COVID has locked so many people down and so many people away from being in community, that there's just this energy in the air that I'm seeing that I never seen before. A lot of anger and frustration is in the air right now, especially in these young people. So now that blood has been being spilled all around our county, people have a mission now and a desire to go after things and start getting out here and committing these violent acts, because they're feeling this negative energy and this energy of frustration that's been put in our air and in our environment and our atmosphere. Those are just a few factors that, I mean, I could go on and talk about that all day. You know, I mean, that's what I'm seeing, and that's what I'm hearing, and that's what I'm feeling.
So you mentioned a couple of things that you at Community Passageways are doing. Can you speak about a few other things that your organization is working on to help combat the increase in gun violence in King County?
Yeah, some of the things we're working on right now, we have the deep dive program, and in our deep dive program, we're working with a list of youth that are labeled through the county as young people, through prosecutor's office, as young people who are statistically more likely to shoot or be shot or end up in the system within, a short period of time, 12 months or something like that. And we're working with a group of them. We have 20 plus kids right now in the program. And what we're doing is paying them a stipend to go through daily curriculum and daily engagement. And I've hired a group of community ambassadors that have been to the penitentiary, that have been in these streets, that have been involved in gangs, that have committed a lot of these offenses that these kids are committing, that have changed their life and turned their mindset around. And we take them through a series of trainings. Actually, I have a team going through a training right now, going through a series of trainings, giving them the more tools in their toolbox, besides the natural tools we've already developed as being people that are very resilient and have been able to come out of situations that we've been in through our resiliency, adding to that resilience some other skills to go out in the community and give them the resources to go out and work with these young people. So this group of community ambassadors for Deep Dive works with these Deep Dive young people and have been making sure that they get their basic needs met. We got, I think we got around 11 of them jobs right now. I know a few of them just graduated from an apprenticeship program, building tiny houses, and one of them got a full-time job, and 2 more we're working on getting them jobs. But we've been getting them full-time jobs, like they're working. They were all once, a lot of them were enemies. And a lot of them have been, had some issues with each other and have shot at each other before. When they came into the first meeting, they came in with bulletproof vests and guns. This was 7 months ago or so, maybe at least 7 or 8 months ago, right? And so within that first week of coming into space together, we were able to settle some of those beefs and get them to start having a few truces with each other. And so they stopped shooting and they found out that they got more in common than they had differences and became friends. And so, by the end of that first week, they were sitting in group laughing with each other and chopping it up with each other. And we've been able to make these guys get along with each other because we got them in the same space, and we were able to facilitate that space and hold that space with them and let them see, that they got the same issues and they got the same differences, but they all have a lot in common with each other. There's no reason to be shooting at each other. And it's been a trip because and throughout these months, we've even had a couple of entities in the Deep Dive program who have had issues with each other, not even with each other, but with people that they were around, and had shot in each other's vicinity. And we were able to go ahead and do a de-escalation and get those entities to come to the table, put the guns away and have a 2 or 3 hour long dialogue, and walked out of there with a clear understanding that I'm making sure we ain't busting at you guys don't bust at us, kind of thing, But now what we're doing with this group of kids, after all this time and all these daily curriculums and daily meetings, and we have one-on-ones and group meetings and supporting them, supporting their families, the ones that do have families, supporting the ones that are in their 20s, that have a kid and a girlfriend, making sure that they got all their basic needs met, paying them nice stipends so they can take care of their monthly bills and issues, and also giving them rental assistance, utility assistance, plugging them with full-time employment, doing all the things that they need to let them look at what I really don't have time to be out here in this mess no more. Like, I have responsibilities now. I have a plan with my life now. I just got off a conference call with a real estate lady that has a very powerful real estate company, and she's put a curriculum together that she's going to walk them through real estate, how to buy your first house, how to buy your first condo, how to buy your first piece of property. They're learning about financial literacy and a whole plethora of other things that Dion Shell, one of our instructors, and Will Jimerson, one of our other instructors, have been able to put together a real culturally powerful, culturally relevant curriculum to teach them about themselves, who they are, where they came from, how powerful of a people they are, how much we gave to history, and so they can feel proud of who they are. Those kind of things is what helps us slow down the gun violence. We need to be able to expand that work. We're getting ready to take them. We're leaving Thursday. We're taking them on a 3-day retreat out to Leavenworth, out to Leavenworth. We're taking them on a 3-day retreat to Leavenworth. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through a lot of conversations and trainings and circles, and we're going to have a lot of dialogue on what does it look like for you to go back into your gang sets, back to your homies, and you start talking about a truce. Let's start talking. We want to leverage them and use them to be the ambassadors of their peers in their gang sets, to go back into their communities with their peers and say, look, man, let's start talking about putting these guns down. We can start getting some jobs and some housing. Y'all been couch surfing and sleeping at everybody. We can get you housing. We can get you a job. Let's try something different, man. Let's just do. And I'm gonna ask for an 8-week truce. No shots fired for 8 weeks is what we want to shoot for, right? They don't even know this yet. They don't even know what they're going. We got them all to agree to go on this retreat, but they don't even realize what they're getting ready to walk into yet, right? And they're gonna be there with a lot of people that their friends or enemies with, right? And so we're gonna talk about that, and it's gonna be all about revolving around. How can we get a truce in our community? In South King County, in the CD, the South End, Seattle, how can we get a gang truce and slow these shootings down? Even if we just slow them down 50% by sending these kids back into their community, back to their peers, and saying, bro, we're gonna shut it down. We can't do this. Let's just take 8 weeks off, and I'll pay them. I'm gonna pay them to be those ambassadors. They're already getting paid a stipend to do the work. I'm gonna pay them extra money to be the ambassadors to get a truce. We wanna push the word truce, stop firing, stop shooting. Let's get 8 weeks. We're only asking for 8 weeks. There's been a lot of blood drawn and a lot of revenge shootings that have been happening, right? Let's slow that down for 8 weeks, and let's start having some dialogue on what it looks like to come together and create some wealth, generational wealth. What does it look like for you guys to start opening your own businesses, following after your dreams? They all want money. They all want money. Everybody wants money, especially these young people. Money is their driving force, right? At the end of the day, you ain't gonna get the money you want and have the success you want by shooting and killing each other. You go into the penitentiary and you're dying. Nobody wins. Those are the messages we're gonna push out here into the community. And then we're gonna say, here's an opportunity. We're gonna present some opportunities for you to start making your own money and start owning your own properties and owning your own businesses. What helps people put down guns and what helps people to stop shooting each other is when they have wealth and resources. Every community that has an abundance of wealth and resources doesn't have a whole bunch of violence, period. It's data driven. It's science. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows that. So how do we generate our own wealth? We have to sit down and revolve and put our money through our own community. And I'm going to go ahead, and my team is going to go ahead, and other organizations I'm connected to are going to go ahead and start putting resources that we got access to into our community like we already are, but we want to take it to the next level. That's why we have to get the money out of the government's hands, out of the city's hands, out of the county's hands, out of the state's hands, and put the money back into the community, because us Black and brown people are the people that generated that wealth for them to even have money in any of them systems in the first place, off the sweat and blood of our ancestors and free slave labor, right? Free slave labor is what made this country wealthy. So if you want to get to the root cause of why we're in here, really out here killing each other and really out here perpetuating this level of violence on each other, let's look at the fact that the wealth has been delivered into the hands of systems for free. And the systems hold on to this money and issue kibbles and bits out to Black and brown communities for us to go ahead and put grants and fight over grants and RFPs over, right? And then we have to get a little bit of money to just try to survive with. Well, no, it's time for that to shift. We want a substantial amount of money to pour into our communities. That's why I just got off another call just today too. I'm working on creating Black financial institutions. We're working on creating a Black credit union. I've been talking to CEOs of credit unions, and they're giving me a lot of good input, and they want to help do this. I'm gonna be talking to some more Black institutions from the East Coast, and we're moving forward on this. We have to create our own financial institutions so our young people that got these guns that are out here gangbanging can actually be brought in and shown, we're gonna teach you how to buy a house. We're gonna help you get a job, and we're gonna teach you how to buy your first piece of property. We're gonna teach you how to open up your first business. When you have a purpose to wake up to every day and a plan to wake up to every day, you don't wake up and pick up the gun, you pick up the plan. And that's what happens, right? Or we need to have resources to grow wealth. When somebody has a 401k with 500 or 600 grand sitting in it and can go to their bank account and withdraw 10 grand whenever they need to, I promise you they ain't out here gangbanging. I promise you that. I promise you they ain't here shooting nobody that look like them or anybody, period. I promise you that. So what is really perpetuating this? Poverty is perpetuating this.
That's really powerful. Can you give us a way that the individual viewer can support what you're doing?
Yeah, you could go to communitypassageways.org and go on. You can hit the donate button. You can hit the volunteer button. There's a bunch of just surf through the website, see what we do. You can see you can get some general information from there. If you're really interested and really trying to find out more information and even talking to me about supporting, creating financial institutions that can support the people that are marginalized and disenfranchised, shoot me an email, dom@communitypassageways.org. And you can get a hold of us there. So communitypassageways.org for the website, and Dom, D-O-M, as in Dominique, dom@communitypassageways.org is my email address.
Thank you so much for your time today. That was super powerful. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Have a good one.
You too.